And here we are, we got the music playing, we've got the Jackman with us, and that must mean it's Monday. Welcome, Jack.
Ew.
This is Drawing the Castle Keeper's Guide, but before we get into this, I want to give a big shout out to every single one of you super sexy people that are backing me on Patreon or subscribe to me here on Twitch. Every single one of these people, super sexy, at least for the rest of the day. Love you all. Much love to you. Thank you for your support. Let's flick ourselves over to the Castle Keeper's Guide. We'll take a quick look at what we're going to be doing today. And we'll go from there. And I'm just... After a very busy day, I am ready just to start pushing a little bit of virtual ink around. And good to see you, Wargaming. Thank you for the raid. Jack, what are you going to watch tonight?
Well, I was debating whether or not I wanted to watch Midnight Cowboy, which was the other contender for last week. That one is obviously on Prime, but I've got so many movies that my quote unquote need to see list is getting a little bit out of hand, and I was wondering if I wanted to do that for today, or if I wanted to pick something else. It's one of those films that is, it's kind of it's a classic, and it's an award winner, and it's definitely one of those should be seen films, but I didn't know if I was in the mood for it, because I know it's a drama, so I don't know if I want to see something heavy or if I want to watch something maybe a little bit more funny or action packed. I don't know.
What's in your funny list?
Actually, I don't know. My list that I keep is alphabetical, so I have no idea. I could go through it here and see. Well, that's weird wargaming. I can see you in chat.
Yeah, that Wargaming literally just said it won't let me chat, but to do that, you just chatted?
Okay. You might have rated just as she went live, and maybe there was something like lost at the connection when it was syncing up.
And it did tell me that you raided. It did tell me that.
Yeah, very strange. Okay, so going through the list, let's see what are some potentially funny ones. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so far, no comedies. Is that that's the castle that you're going to use for the inspiration?
Actually, I'm going to draw this castle. This is Chevalier, Crack D Chevalier. I'm probably butchering that, but this is a famous Crusader castle that you can see right here. So I got a plan of this. I would love to draw it in isometric. I wish I could draw this well. It's just so good. But that's for another time. But this is the plan. I found several plans. This one seemed to be the best one. Because some of them were drawing the ruins. Some of them were drawing it such a way where it just didn't seem to match the actual, castle. Okay. So, yeah, I'm basically doing a floor plan of Crack the Chevalier.
Okay.
But I'm going to do it differently than this, because this is almost showing the rooms and everything. I'm going to be showing this type, but from above.
Okay.
The solid, and you're here, there's a slope and stuff, you can actually see the slope going down there. I'm going to draw all of that. So that's my objective.
Nice.
A little bit different.
Cool. Ah, wargaming. I am safe from beans because you're not putting any gold in for them. Okay. Okay. All right. Still looking through my list. I'm up to the JKL area, and I still have yet to come across a comedy. Let's see.
Wargaming Weekend, you're still floating around with 13,000 there. But just save it for the moment, Wargame. We'll just chill for a while here. I got a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a quieter Monday. I think people are beginning to ease themselves into the holiday sort of period.
I think that makes sense.
We're kind of seeing it all over. I was talking to Pex about this earlier, and we're seeing like less engagement across like all of the social media platforms. It's almost like just people are beginning just to tune out a little bit, you know? Well,
there we go.
Sorry, real quick. If you want to be in the top 3, I would argue you are in the top 3 because Pex and myself don't count.
That's a good point. So that would be Mr. Valor number 1, Miss J number 2, and then Wargaming you would be number 3.
Number 3? Did either of you get your Cyberpunk 2077? A buddy of mine was watching my stream tonight, said he was downloading his Cyberpunk while he watched me. So there's something weird going on with that. We haven't downloaded it yet. We have pre-ordered it. I have no doubt that we're absolutely fine and good to go. But some people have been able to download it and some people haven't. And I don't know if they're downloading it on consoles and therefore subject to slightly different rules, or if they're downloading it on Steam, which is where Jack and I got ours. So I guess it depends on the platform that you're on. I believe that the official download date starts tomorrow, but they also do time zones in with that, so maybe it's available right now, I don't know. But I mean, I'm not too bothered. You know, as long as I can download it tomorrow or Wednesday, you know, I'm fine. Sorry, Jack.
No, it's okay. And I'm wanting to know if ours is actually already preloaded, like if it did it automatically a while ago. Because I could have sworn, I'm actually going to fire up my Steam. I'm looking at an article that came out 9 hours ago. And according to this, it is on GOG, Steam, and Epic. It is available currently to preload. While consoles, Xbox and PlayStation aren't able to preload it until tomorrow.
Interesting.
So I'm firing up my Steam to see.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to fire up my Steam on stream, so go for it.
All right, let's see here. Oh, there's actually a big old button that says preload.
Oh, well, there you go. There's your answer, Wargaming. It looks like we tested it this morning and it wasn't available, so it looks like some point today it actually became available. Jack, I will not blame you if you now download that.
I think I'm gonna right now.
I'll probably do mine overnight. Thank you, Wargaming. It's very much appreciated. So, they've got the 10th as the release date, but it's actually kind of midnight GMT that they're doing it, something like that. So we will actually be able to play theoretically 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday.
Yep, it's gonna be pretty awesome, I gotta say.
Thus, no stream on the Wednesday.
Actually had to create, because I have that brand new solid state drive with nothing on it that is gonna have only Cyberpunk. Had to create a subfolder in there in order to install it there. Yeah, 60 gigabytes needed for this bad boy.
60 gig. Hey, GL, good to see you, my friend. That's correct, actually. I won't be streaming Wednesday and Thursday. After which, that's good. And honestly, I don't normally stream on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, but I will probably do a little bit of work in there on maps and stuff. But yeah, I think after having 2 or 3 days off, that'll be a nice rest. I feel like I need a rest. I've been burning pretty hard recently, so having a little bit of a break, playing a little bit of a game, and then we'll resume next Monday BAU. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will be back into it. But that's okay, because I'm actually going to spend parts of each day. I'm going to actually be off from the day job at least half a day each day, so I'll get to play a little bit each day as we go. That's kind of my plan.
Yeah, I got to admit, I don't know if it's kicked in my brain just yet, but the fact that this upcoming Wednesday is my last day of work, and then I am taking all the rest of the time off, and I don't go back to work until Monday, January 4th.
That's pretty mega, Jack. That's pretty mega.
So it's what, 3.5 weeks of, I don't think I've ever had vacation time that long, ever. And it's the wargaming. The only reason why it was possible is because all of our conventions got canceled this year. So up until coming up to the end of the year, I'm like, holy crap, I have all of this PTO and Cyberpunk's coming out, and I've been waiting for Cyberpunk. Well, as Alyssa made a joke the other day, we've been waiting since 2012 because that article that we were reading, or that list we were reading of things that have happened since they announced Cyberpunk 2077 as a thing. So yeah, I mean, apparently I've been waiting 8 years for this game. I've been doing really good job of, trying to not have my expectations up that high, but at the same time also not reading any reviews, not watching any videos. I'm gonna go in completely blind and experience it, everything. Like, I've seen literally maybe 2 trailers, like way back when, when they very first had footage, and then I watched the first couple of minutes of the playthrough mission where you and the NPC are like trying to find the girl, and then basically like Shadowrun the Cyberpunk equivalent of Dockwagon shows up. All these military medical professionals show up, and I was like, and it was like, I think the video continued on for like another half an hour of gameplay, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. That's all I need to see. And so aside from that, I have been exposed to nothing. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited going in. But again, I'm not expecting anything amazing, because I haven't prepared myself for, like, I haven't seen something and been like, this is gonna be the best. I'm like, since I don't know what to expect, I'm gonna be surprised by whatever I get. I haven't built up any expectations in my head, because I'm like, I don't know what there's gonna be. I have no idea what there's gonna be. I have no idea how character creation's even gonna work. I think, Alyssa, you've watched some of the character creation vids, right? Or no?
No, actually, I haven't. I wanted to stay away from it. I've just heard news about some of the features that are in there, but I've not actually pursued any of it. So, okay. Wargaming, what's the new position? Potentially. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, nice. And wargaming, yeah, even though I'm taking 3.5 weeks off, I still have 9 days of PTO still that I haven't used, you know. So I could have taken even longer off, but it didn't. I don't have mine get used up though. Like, it doesn't go away ever. That sucks that you're in a place where you have to use it, otherwise you lose it. Acquisitions specialist. Person who places orders for all the things we buy for the collection, pays them all, make sure the money comes from correct funds. We have something like a $3 to $4 million budget for materials. For the collection, if I may ask, what is it you do? And I mean, I guess, what is it for? If you don't mind me asking. If you don't want to say it, then no worries, no worries.
GL, thank you very much. Crack de Chevalier, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We're literally drawing my version of this. I'm using a plan of the castle to get the wall shapes correct, but instead of doing a almost cutaway where it's showing the rooms, I will be doing a top-down version of this, complete with battlements, walkways, slopes, etc. And the outside moat, or ditch, I suppose. So this is what we're drawing. And I've got these two here as reference. But these are my dimensions, this is my kind of plan.
GL, you've been with your company 18 years and you only get 15 days
and no sick time? What the hell? Do you work, are you in the States? Do you work, or do you live abroad? Well, I guess for me it's abroad, for us it's abroad. Because if you work in the States, I don't think that's legal. I gotta say. That's bloody awful. Who's your company?
And wargaming. Good lord, that's the kind of stuff you get, and you have a $3 to $4 million budget. What do you work for? The Library of Congress or something? Holy good lordy! Wow. In Minnesota. Wowzers.
That's harsh, man. That is really harsh.
Interstate Batteries. So he's the warehouse manager. Damn, Gio. That I'm with Wargaming, man. That really sucks. Yeah, I don't know what the state laws that are there in Minnesota, but I know that in Oregon, where we live, that actually 15 days PTO with no sick time, I think in the state of Oregon is it's illegal. That'd be violating state laws. My boss's dad, now retired, told everyone that if 3 weeks wasn't enough for you, you can get another job.
See, that sucks. That is a sucky attitude. That is a disgusting human being.
That's a pretty... I agree. That's pretty horrible. Wowzers. Wargaming, wow. Yeah. Affluent community, renovating your building for about $7 million. Wowzers.
See, this is where like this becomes like a combination of like which plan is correct. It's like, so this here has got this little knobbly bit sort of sticking off the side, right? It's actually got a couple of them here and there. This here, just to quickly pencil it in, is that tower right there. It is that tower right there. Nowhere on those two towers is there a knobbly bit sticking off the side. And the wall, actually, this wall here is stepped back a little bit. So to draw it like this would actually be incorrect. It's the same here. You can see it stepped back.
Yeah, the step back bit, I can see the discrepancy, but those two knobbly bits on the top-down view, because the gray is supposed to be the wall, I think those are two alcoves to the two windows. So those are triangular walls on the inside that come up to the window. I think so. For angling, you can go left and right when you're angling out your bow.
Oh yeah, no. So this here, yeah, that's an arrow slit. Faux shiggity.
Oh, those knobbly bits.
Yeah, you see it now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What the hell are those knobbly bits?
Yeah, what are they?
What the hell? I don't know. That's bizarre.
So that's why I've got these sort of isometric views or these elevated views. Because I'm going to draw the rough plan, and then I think we're going to be modifying it, you know?
Right.
Wargaming, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Because, to put this in perspective, these arrow slits here, like Jack pointed out, are actually these arrow slits here. And so this plan has a knobbly bit right here. Wargame. Luton. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that you've obviously got 18 years of experience, but yeah, I think that's honestly one of the effed up situations here in the United States. It's like companies throw out this, you need a bachelor's, you need a master's. Like, almost, like, well, it is now. It is part of our culture. It is just part of our culture. And it has no bearing on real experience, and it has no bearing on actual capability. And a lot of the time, it has no bearing on the actual job you'll be doing. I mean, we've all seen them, where someone will say you've got to have a master's degree, 3 years of experience, pay $15 an hour. And it's like they're just completely freaking out of sync. It's like, and I work at a company. Where, at least to a degree, there are certain powers that be that put a lot of emphasis on having a degree in programming, where our best programmers don't have a degree in it. It's like raw talent, capability, wisdom, and actual experience that carries the day every time. This whole leaning like a crutch on you've got to have a bachelor's is honestly bullshit. It's just bullshit. But this is also why you have all of the kids going to college. They have to go to college. They won't do a trade craft or anything like that. Michael Rowe is right in that sense. And it's like we've just become this culture that puts everything into college, and now the jobs require college. So the kids are coming out with $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 worth of debt, and a job is requiring that you do that, and it may have no bearing on the actual job you're going to do. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. You need a job where a hiring person is someone like me, because I'd look past that shit. Hey, Dungeon Tube, hello.
And George Fields is in the chat tonight. Hello,
George Fields. Hey, my friend. Yes, this. In fact, George, how much of this have you seen? This is indeed for Trollord Games. Look, my info is wrong. I always forget to do the info. I will admit that Jack and I were standing outside looking at our Christmas lights. So I was rushing a little bit. But I always forget to do the info.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, wait a minute.
Jay.
I was like, Look at Toy was Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday last week. Wait a minute.
So, yeah, like a quick walkthrough of what we've accomplished, because we're working on the last map, and then we'll be colouring. We've got the Thorpe, Hamlet. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. Village. And I'm doing all of these on one canvas. Obviously, Trollord Games will be inserting them individually into the final printed piece. But we're going to do a poster of this because it's just too sexy. We have our tower, the first of the military structures. We did a cutaway block. We have our Motte and Bailey. Gotta have a Motte and Bailey. We decided we were going to do an elevated view. It's a little wonky in parts, but hey, this was my first time doing one. Marching camp. So I did a Roman marching camp. Of course I did. Then we went all out. And I think, honestly, if you look at the transition between these, I think each time I got a little bit better. But we did a castle, just a regular castle. And it's based upon Harlech Castle. It's not an exact replica of Harlech Castle, but it's based upon Harlech Castle. Complete with Green Luton's heraldry right there. We have our town. We have our city. We have our fortified city, our metropolis. This just starts to get nuts now. We gotta colour these. Alright, we'll figure that one out. And now I'm doing the Greater Castle, and I'm basing the Greater Castle on Crack des Chevaliers, and ultimately this is what the castle looks like. The plan is close, but the plan is also a cutaway, and it has some weirdness in it. So I'm getting just the basic dimensions and placement of the towers down, and I'm doing a top-down view. No rooms are getting shown. That's why I've got these for reference. So we'll get all of our battlements in here. We'll get our towers in here. You know, the correct positions of hatches and things. And I'll be doing the, you can see here there's a ditch going all the way around it. We'll draw a ditch and everything too. But right now I'm just getting, like, where are my towers? What are the size of my towers? And so on and so forth. What's the software I'm using? This is, actually, will this show? Kinda, sorta. I'm drawing on a touch monitor. This is a Cintiq 24-inch HD touch. You can get one from, what's the name? Huon. They do monitors like this, where you could draw on the monitor. They lay flat. You could draw on them. You can pick them up and play games on them for about $700. Cintiq go a lot more because they support gestures, which honestly is kind of overrated. And I'm using Photoshop, so I'm using a pen, and it has angles and like pressures and stuff. So it's just like drawing ink on paper in so many ways.
Yeah, the fact that you're just doing Photoshop is brilliant, you know.
But Procreate works, GIMP works, anything like that. What were you going to say, Jack?
Oh, it was just one of those things where I don't Photoshop barely at all, but the few times I've tried to use it for artsy little things, because you know me, I'm not an artist at all, but a couple of times I want to manipulate an image or add something to an image. The fact that I have to do it with a freaking mouse and like I'm trying to do something, it's like I so wish this was just a touch screen and I could use a pen like Alyssa does, because that would be so much easier, for God's sakes. So, but it's one of those things where I can't justify like getting even like a Huon, so it's like $700. I can't even justify getting that because it's like I don't do art enough to justify a purchase like that. I mean, unless, you know, purchasing that then, catapulted me into doing more art, or any art, I should say.
If I was to replace this bad boy, I would get a Huon. And you can get them for, I want to say $300, $400, you know, smaller ones.
Yeah, but if you're used to a bigger surface, a bigger drawing surface or writing surface, whatever, screen size, you know, I don't think you'd be able to downgrade. You know, it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of hard to go back to something once you've gotten comfortable with a, you know.
GL, I absolutely watched the lathe video. I thought I actually left a reaction on that too. I did, totally, where you were like cutting it, it was like it was like cutting a thread or something, right? It's awesome. I freaking love it, man. It's like, honestly, so I don't have a shop of any type. I don't have a wood shop and I don't have a metal shop. And if I did, they'd get completely unused. But I admire it so much. There's just something about it you're creating, you know? And I love that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, Miss J, I actually had one of those tablets that wasn't connected to the screen. Funnily enough, I actually, you know, gave it to Cave Geek because I never used it and it would have been a learning curve thing. It just would have been, I didn't use it enough to get used to it. But the disconnect from what I was doing to what was happening on screen, my brain just, it couldn't make that shift for some reason. Again, I didn't use it long enough to make the shift happen. But it was one of those things where I was just like, I can't, like my brain was like, what is happening here? So never used it. And I ended up giving it to Cave Geek because he was like, I'm looking for one of those, you know, tablets that doesn't have a screen, one of the little ones. And I was like, I think Alyssa was like, Jack, don't you have one of those? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got one of those. I'll give it to you. Yeah, and I've heard people say that as long as they can get past that disconnect, it works perfectly fine. Yeah. If you're ever in Minnesota and you're more invited to stop over, and I'll teach you how to use it. I don't have it anymore, sadly. Or no, the lathe. You're talking about the lathe with Alyssa. Sorry.
I last used a lathe when I was about 14 years of age, because wood shop and metal shop were actually required classes at the school I went to, and I will admit I had a lot of fun on them. I really did. I actually liked metal shop and wood workshop quite a bit. Not enough to like actually do it in my last 2 years, where you could optionally sort of join classes. But I had a lot of fun. And I think the lathes of nowadays are a little bit more progressive than the lathes of X amount of decades ago. I saw yours was just doing its thing. You weren't hands-on doing shit, you know? It was like set it, forget it.
Yeah, when I was in school, I'm trying to think. Like you were saying, how wood shop and the other one where woodworking was required. The only electives, the only elective courses that were required when I went to school were you had to take at least 2 years of a foreign language, and that was it. Everything else was completely wide open. So I took, being that I grew up in Southern California, I took 2 years of Spanish. Can I remember 99% of it? No. But that was it. Just Spanish. So I didn't have to take like wood shop. I didn't have to take metal working, anything like that. Which is funny because someone in the same town that I lived in, but went to a different school, I think they did have to take, I want to say, I think it was required that they took a practical course like that. I don't remember what I think he did woodworking, I think, because he was talking about how his teacher was telling a story about a guy who took his thumb out with a freaking table saw. Yeah. But it's like, it was weird because it was like 2 different schools in the same town. One of them required you to do one of those kind of practical, hands-on courses, and the other one didn't. The other one was like, meh, take some language and then do whatever the hell you want.
It's funny, George, that you excelled at metal, but you're not at drafting. No, you excelled at drafting. I sucked at drafting. We had to do drafting. That was one of the classes we had to do. And look at me now. I'm doing this, but this is not drafting. And I was terrible at it. Like, get the pencil, and you had to get the perfect weight of the pencil to get the perfect grey line on the page. Oh, I was terrible at it. I hated that class.
Funnily with drafting, this is going to be a free Jack fact, everybody. Well, it's not really a fact about me. It's a fact about my family. My father submitted an application to be an aerospace engineer at an independent aerospace engineering firm in this small Southern California town. It was about an hour outside of Edwards Air Force Base. Maybe not an hour, maybe like a 30-minute drive. He went in for an interview. He applied for the job because he was looking for anything, and he literally was applying for like anything. And he was a smart guy. He's like, he was in the military for a little bit, and he was really sharp. Like, anything he put his mind to, he could do. But he wasn't an engineer. He didn't know any of that. Well, he went in to this interview, and they ended up having to reschedule him for like 2 weeks or something. And they were like, you can bring your portfolio back then when because we have to reschedule you for a couple of weeks. And he was like, right, my portfolio. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so he basically then went to the public library and taught himself drafting and mechanical engineering, and basically created a bunch of theoretical engineering parts, and came in and showed and had these concept art. It was basically concept art for freaking mechanical engineering for aerospace. And he was hired, and he worked there for like 20 plus years.
You see, this is probably not great for GL, who's sitting there going, fuck, after him talking about how 18 years isn't getting him anywhere. I wonder how far that would go nowadays, though.
True.
My mom did something similar, by the way. My mom got a job, and I forget what the job was for, but she was applying well above her educational and his work experience. Mm-hmm. And she came home and was like, I've got this job. I need you to teach me math. And we were doing advanced fucking math, so she was prepared for whatever job it was that she had apparently landed.
That's funny.
All right, now GL did do a bean. I think because I just turned off the background layer on this one, and I'm about to start actually dialing in some of our towers and our shapes here. I think this is a good opportunity to bean you. So let's do it.
Well, while you're beaning, I'm going to get myself something to drink. I'll be right back.
All right. So we're gonna bean time. It feels like it's been a while. Feels like it's been a while, right? Let's do this. Totally blind. 50-50. Some are good, some are terrible. Some are toothpaste, which isn't bad. Some are super hot. Some are dog poo. And what do we get? I think this is meant to be good. I think. I got a feeling that this is meant to be like a flavor you like, but I don't like it. That's a little bit like toothpaste is meant to be the bad one, but I actually like toothpaste. I think this is bubble gum or something. And I'm like, no thanks. I mean, it's not like licking sweat off a dead man's ass or anything like that. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I would put that on a negative scale. That was not a pleasant flavour. You know, not terrible, but not awesome at the same time. Do dead men sweat? Well, there is the billion-dollar question, my friend. Would you lick a dead man's ass to find out? No, I thought not. But seriously, some of them are really, really bad. And then some of them are meant to be bad, but they're actually okay. And then there's been 2 now that are okay. They're meant to be okay. But I'm like, Like, there was one that was literally a berry explosion. And it was as if someone had taken the berry flavour, cranked it up to 11, and then shoved it up your arse with an enema. It was like, I like berries, I don't like this. So the flavours are kind of all over the place. That one wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Thank you. There's definitely grass. I've eaten grass. Not in real life, but I'm sure I have in real life. But, like, berry, yeah. There's been a couple of berries that I've eaten where I've gone, no, this is like chewing on a sod. They're nasty.
Yeah, that actually reminds me, the popcorn flavored beans are supposed to be good ones. I find them to be some of the most disgusting jelly beans I've ever had, ever. For some reason, popcorn jelly beans are vile. And I actually like the flavor of grass. I actually used to go to a Jamba Juice.
What?
This is gonna sound weird. So I used to go to a Jamba Juice. I think it was called Jamba Juice. It was like it's like one of those smoothie places near where I used to work. Actually, the doctor's office I used to work at that you used to go to before you moved. And they sold wheatgrass shots. So I would always get a shot of wheatgrass and then would get a smoothie. And I loved it. I thought it was great. And it was. They basically put a bunch of grass in a freaking juicer, basically. And it juiced it down into a shot glass of fucking liquid grass. Like the thought of it sounds gross, but it was good. I liked it. Yeah, CGL. Yeah, the popcorn ones. So, and oh my god, yeah, the butter popcorn is in the top 3 of the most popular jelly beans. Are you kidding me? It's so gross. It's so gross. See, no, yeah, wargaming. I've had unfortunately, I had a bad experience with cannabis that it pretty much just crossed it off for me, where I can't do it. And it's not even it that did it for me. One time I woke up and this is many years ago. I woke up the most hungover and the most ill I had ever been in my entire life. Like, I was retching and my outsides, it was so bad. It was so bad. And the thing is the guys that I had partied with the night before, they were all doing their breakfast in a bowl. You know, they had their cereal and they were taking giant hits off a ball. And ever since that morning, whenever I smell marijuana, my brain goes back to that feeling that I was having of when I was the ultimate sick from drinking the night before, that I almost have a physical reaction. Like when I smell marijuana of any kind, I actually kind of go like, oh, I'm gonna drive, like I dry heave, like this was 25 years ago. No, not 25 years ago. 20 years ago. And I can't. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it quote unquote like ruined that for me. I could eat like an edible, like if you give me a brownie, sure. But if it smells like marijuana, no, I'm gonna have a negative physical reaction to it. Ooh. It's one of those things where, you know, I've had so many bad experiences with alcohol. You'd think that I would be off alcohol, like, you know, from being drunk or hungover or whatever. You'd think, well, that's enough for me. Like, nah, it's okay. But the one bad thing for marijuana, no, never.
Thank you, Dungeon 2. That's very much appreciated, my friend. This floor plan I downloaded is freaking weird. It's so weird. Like tracing the outside edge itself and comparing it to the floor plan. I don't even know what the floor plan artist was doing. Maybe he was smoking a little bit of the weed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Alright, so if this is going to be our battlement width right here, then that seems to suggest that there is the equivalent here. Okay. And then this is the main gatehouse right here, so but like there's nothing behind the main gatehouse. So what the F is all of this? I don't know what this is. Like, I'm really tempted to delete it. I feel like there is this lower area right here that I think is trying to... That's what it's doing. It's this. It's this. That's what it is. Well, let's do something about that. I think it's because it's a floor plan that is literally the floor versus the the ceiling, the roof, you know? The roof plan is different. So we've got the bit that comes out there, but really and truly, you see, there's this whole other tower here. Like here. That it's not shown here. And I think... Question time. We're going to do a question time. I think what's meant to happen here is level with... I don't know what this is. I just don't know what that is. But I think that there is some kind of like tower that kind of comes out, let's say, for the sake of argument, like this. Right? And then This does that, and it comes out over the side here. But there's a kink in and everything. I'm gonna start going off these. I'm gonna actually start deleting some lines. I think I'm gonna start deleting some of this because I think because we're doing a different view, that the floor plan is just gonna start breaking our brains. It's breaking my brain, and that's all that matters. Question time. GL, hit me with a book. 1 to 4. Hit me with a question. 1 to 3,000.
We want a shrubbery.
Book 3.
A what?
1. Question 1. Okay. Okay. I randomly stacked the books before the stream, so I don't know what this is going to be. Would you rather? Other questions. Discussion point for the chat this evening. Would you rather give up your favourite food for a year or give up candy forever?
Easy. Candy forever.
Yeah. I'm the same. I actually, I eat very little candy. Honestly, these beans that you guys and girls have me eat is probably the most candy that I've had in a long time. I don't eat candy. I don't eat chocolate, like hardly forever. So it's honestly, it's more peer pressure than everything. Yeah, have some chocolate. It's the best chocolate ever. All right, yeah, I'll try it. That's okay. But I could give up candy easily. Easily. Now, food's good. Now, some of my favorite foods are Cajun foods or Indian food, like curries and the likes. I really, really, really dig those foods. And I will be honest, I could probably give up either for a year. I could. But candy, I don't give a shit about candy. Like, fuck off candy. I don't care. Give me a curry. That's where my vote's at.
Wargaming says that really, really good chocolate is one of his favorite foods. He actually would do the favorite food for a year cut out.
Okay.
George Fields is with us. Give up candy forever. And I actually have my own either or question. I don't think it's in your book. Well, it might be in your book. Your book has 3,000 either ors. Wow, Wargaming, you've had chocolate prescribed to you by a doctor as medication. Wowzers.
Wow, okay. There's a good reason to eat candy. Fair enough.
That doctor's awesome. Can I get a prescription for pizza, please? Please. It would really help me with the stresses of the world. Right?
You should eat more pizza, Jack. Here's a prescription.
Yeah, exactly, right? I would need permission to justify it because my health and weight don't justify maybe having a pizza prescribed to me. So I would need a doctor to say yes. A doctor would prescribe me a salad. That's what he would do. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It was for
anxiety.
Okay. That the effects that chocolate can have, I've heard, help with that. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Ooh, GL says chocolate upsets his stomach, so he doesn't eat it much.
There's a good reason not to eat chocolate.
So my either or question is one that I forgot where I heard it for the first time, but it was, if one of these two things was deleted from existence and could never be recreated, like there was an all-powerful being that came down and was going to delete all history of them, would you give up humor, comedy, basically, or music? One of them is it deleted from existence. All history of it will be deleted and you can never recreate it and all memory of it will be gone. So either
You have to think about the answer too, folks. You have to think about it.
comedy or music.
It has ramifications.
GL is saying that he would have music be gone. Pex is saying that he would have music be gone. Hello, Pex.
Hey, Pex.
Wargaming is saying that he would delete humor, but he'd rather delete himself from existence first.
It is a tough one, and it's particularly tough because if you pick something like music, all music is now removed from film. Like, my instinct is to go with music, but then taking music out of film actually changes, I think, the quality of a film that you're watching. Which makes it a really, really hard question. Like, I love humor. I love humor.
Yeah, every Friday I hear you chuckling out in the house. Like, sometimes actually, like, straight out, like, guffawing.
Just so everyone knows, I am in the process of buying Seinfeld. I've watched Seinfeld multiple times, but I'm buying Seinfeld seasons electronically. And on Friday, I watch Seinfeld, and Jack hears me just laughing my ass off because I love Seinfeld. I guess there's a little fact about me. Oh, George Fields is getting meta on your ass.
True. Both him and GL are basically like, yes, but if you don't remember it, you know, would you miss it? So if you don't remember...
I think that's okay, but like, how would it affect the quality of your life? It would have to still affect it. If you remove music from all films, from all computer games, and life in general, there would be a vacuum left behind. Now, well, you may not remember the vacuum, but the quality of life that you're experiencing would still be impacted, I would argue. If you never laughed again, you may not remember why you're not laughing, or even the fact that laughing is a thing, but would your life be subdued because of it? Based upon the sheer areas where music touches, I would have to say I would get rid of comedy, if I had to pick.
Yeah, and we can we can alter the obviously this hypothetical and say that even though all past examples of it are gone and you cannot recreate it, maybe you still have the memory of it. So maybe you remember what it was like to laugh and what it was like to hear jokes. But for some reason, there's some power that's preventing you from ever telling a joke or writing a joke or doing a joke, you know, humor. Yeah, and it would be one of those things where if there are any humorous songs, those would obviously cease to be. Those obviously conflict, even though they are music, they would cease to be. I personally too would give up comedy. Who was it that said it? Wargaming. I don't know if I could claim as you have that it saved you, that music saved your life, but music is very important to me, just on a personal level. And so I don't play. It's not like I'm a musician or anything. There's too much music out there that it means so much to me and has affected my life in some way. And there's no way I could give up music. Yes, Weird Al, gone. Weird Al's done so. All history of him is gone, and he's and no one's ever able to recreate it. Yeah, Green Lantern. That's a good point. Without humor, I think the world would be in constant state of war and depression. But isn't it already though? So how is it any different? That's dark. That's a bit too dark. I always forget where the question came from, but I always remember when it was first asked of me, comedy or music. I was like, "What the crap?" I was like, "That's a crazy ass hypothetical. That's too that's too strong of a, thing to choose between, Because imagine never being able to, like, laugh again. Like you said, maybe you can remember it. But...
Doesn't matter, Jack. You've been deported to Russia. Off to the gulag with you.
Well...
The Pex is real.
He has the power. And people would still have love. That is true. Not funny love. Musical love.
That would actually, though, kind of suck, Jack, because, like, a big part of our relationship is the humor that you and I have together. Can you imagine that gone?
I don't know if my redeem worked. Bashman's in the crowd, so I tried to redeem.
Bashman!
Maybe I didn't spell it right. I tried to redeem shrubbery. Didn't work. Maybe I spelled shrubbery wrong. Sorry, Bashman, I tried.
Love you, Bashman.
Ooh, hold on. I'm gonna redeem swamp.
We live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
Just shrub. Dang it. Redeem gulag. Geo.
How you doing, Bash? Ooh, Pex is throwing in a bean.
Oh man, that's an even one.
Alright, Jack, come get the bean.
Oh man.
Come get the bean.
Oh man. Alright, be right back, everybody.
Jack is gonna take a bean. Is comedy the same as humor? I think it is. Back to your computer with you. War game, yes, but he's already picked up the bean right now, so we're just gonna shh.
No, I know it's not two beans at the same time, but I always said that on the streams that I'm here, I would take every even bean. So as long as it's an odd number, I'm safe, but an even, there we go. So this one's kind of a light blue. I'm hoping for toothpaste. Hoping for toothpaste. Or berry, Toothpaste.
Is it toothpaste?
It is. That's one of those bad ones that I'm down with. When I was a kid, I used to actually eat toothpaste out of the tube.
That's
Jack
weird,
fact.
Jack. That is weird.
Jack fact.
I don't mind toothpaste as a flavor, but I'm not going to eat toothpaste out of the tube. That's just weird. Don't admit that.
Yeah. It's the truth, though. And I used to get in trouble if my parents ever caught me doing it.
Well, yeah.
They were like, "You can't do that. You brush your teeth with it, but you're not supposed to digest it." And I'd be like, "Okay," and they'd leave, and I'd be like,
You are a very strange person.
Not paste, wargaming, toothpaste. I didn't like lick glue sticks or anything weird like that, but. Oh, it's your birthday, Bashman! Happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday, Bashman!
You can now legally drink. Hey!
Hey! Yeah, props to you, man. That's awesome.
Eat and drink. Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, yeah. 16 years ago, yeah. Peck says, when I turned 21, I woke up on an island. True story.
Really?
So Pex, we need Pex facts.
Yeah, we do.
hopefully you were on an island of your choice and you didn't wake up going, where the hell am I? I'm on an island and I don't know how I got here. An island of Texas. What? We thought it was Mexico. We weren't even close. Texas has islands? Say what? Oh, Miss J, I think to me humor is spontaneous and comedy is premeditated attempt to recreate humor. Oh, interesting. Getting into the nitty gritty. I think you're trying to get into that nitty gritty so you don't have to choose.
She's haggling with the devil right now.
You're trying to argue that even though comedy's out, that humor should still be allowed. Now it's all gone. No fun for you.
No fun for you. Come back 1 year.
South Padre Island. Oh, indeed. Never heard of these things. I know so little about Texas. I've only been there a couple of times for conventions. Yeah, I know. I'm making everybody go meta. Why am I on the Wikipedia page for Texas? No, I need to look up South Padre Island. That's what I need to look up. I found my first, going back to before anybody was even in the chat, maybe we was wargaming you and me. We were like the only ones here. Came across my first comedy on my list of movie potentials, Sherlock Jr., 1924 silent film of Buster Keaton's. So
that sounds like a hoot.
I like
That's just
Buster
a hoot
Keaton.
nanny right there.
I like Buster Keaton. I enjoy his films.
That's a must watch right there.
It is, actually. It's one of his that I haven't seen. Actually, I think there's a bunch of his I haven't seen. But
I haven't seen it either, and I will go to my grave not seeing it.
That's sad for you.
Is it though, Jack? Is it?
It is. Wait a minute. South Padre Island looks like it's kind of attached to the...
Is Pex telling a porcupine lie?
Well, no, okay. It is not technically connected to the mainland. It freaking looks like it is. It looks like it's some man-made BS going on right
And
now.
in all truth, so age 21, he just wakes up there. That's some crazy shit.
Buster Keaton is the great grandfather of them all. Yeah, I know. He's a good one. I can't say he's one of those ones where in the silent era he was one of the big three back in the silent era of comedy, obviously. Obviously the most famous being Charlie Chaplin. But it was him, the babyface guy, Langdon, and Buster Keaton were like the big three silent era comedians, like the biggest. I mean, there were a bunch, but they were like the biggest known ones. I was never a super fan of Langdon's personally. Like I've seen some of his films, and it was like, I don't know, he's almost trying to like infantile innocence that he does in his just never hit for me. But
Funny enough, I've actually watched quite a few of his.
no, you haven't.
No, seriously, I have. And I'm going to say that it was when I was a lot younger. I'm not talking about 8 years of age. And I used to go to my great-grandma's house every Wednesday. And for some reason, back then in England, they would show these old movies. That's where I fell in love with Laurel and Hardy. So they used to scoop me up, the adults, and plot me. This was actually, honestly, even before my sister was either a thing or before she was old enough to be placed anywhere. So it's just me in the world. And they would plot me in the living room, and my great grandma had all of her living room furniture covered with plastic. You know the type, right?
Yeah.
And you get plopped down on this furniture. No one's allowed in the living room.
Right.
They've got a TV. I don't think my mum and dad had a TV at the time. This is like how rare this shit was. And they would plop me down, and they'd just put shit on. And Laurel and Hardy would play, and honestly, Buster Keaton would be there, Chaplin would be there, and Langdon. The reason why I say I think I've watched a lot of Langdon is because I knew the name.
Yeah, Harry Langdon. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I actually think I've watched a lot of Langdon.
Wow, that's look at you. I mean, I knew you loved Laurel and Hardy from the ever since your youth, but I didn't realize that you had seen all those other silent era stars.
And it hadn't come to me until you mentioned it, and it's like, wait a minute. And it was like one of those eras of my life where it's like, plop little Alyssa in the living room, let her be. And they would actually give me a Glacier cherry on a little sword cocktail stick, and they'd plop it down, just let her be, and the adults would be in the other room doing their thing, and I'd be entertained on the fucking Glacier cherry, watching what the fuck ever. And I watched so much fucking Laurel and Hardy, because Laurel and Hardy actually in England are loved. They're freaking loved.
Nice. No, in wargaming, that's...
We're not talking the 50s, fuck off.
No, we're talking if you're talking about the silent comedy era, that's like 20s and 30s. That's real early. Unless you're talking about when Alyssa was plunked in front of her great grandma's television.
I think he is. You could kiss my hairy ass, mister.
Jesus Christ, Merry Christmas. Wow, if you call that being fresh, my friend, you're woo. Yeah.
You gotta learn some skills on how to talk to a woman.
But yeah, so you for all I know, you've actually seen probably some Buster Keaton stuff as well.
Honestly, I almost certainly have.
It's probably one of those things where you I bet you I could fire up like The General or something, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen this. That's.
I just wouldn't know it until I started to actually watch it.
Totally. I mean, hell, there are movies that I know I've seen, but I can't remember them. I bet you there's so many more where I couldn't tell you if I've seen it, and then I bet you would start playing and it'd be like, oh shit, yeah, I've seen this one. Right. One of those.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
exactly like that. Oh, Gio, you're not a fan of the silent era films? That's okay. They're not for everybody. They're definitely not for everybody.
No, they're a different type of movie. They are.
Which one at box office? The General? Is that what you're talking about? Because if so, yes, I agree. That film was great. So Sherlock Jr. That's my first comedy on my list of potentials to watch. I know it's available on Prime to watch, and but it's one of those things where, kind of like I was saying earlier, it's like, am I feeling comedy? Is that what I want to go for? This evening, just so everybody has context, Monday nights are I'm gonna watch a movie night. Regardless of what else I'm doing, I'm definitely gonna watch a movie. And I'm trying to hit like older films that are classics. Not even if it's an older film, a classic, whether it be something that's won a lot of awards or that type of thing. Like, like a couple months ago, I watched like The Social Network, the David Fincher film, because I'd never seen it, but it won awards, and like so many people are like, both viewers and critics are like, this film is amazing, and it was just one that I'd missed. So I watched it, and it was great. So that's what I spend, every Monday evening. I try to watch a film like that, where it's like one that I just missed it, and it's great. Or it's one that I've just heard good things about. Maybe critics aren't going crazy about it, or maybe didn't win any awards, but I've heard good things. So I'm like, all right, I need to put that on there, put that on my list. So this evening I was debating what to watch, basically. and my list, my 2C movie list is freaking huge. So it kind of is daunting to try to pick something sometimes. So no, wargaming. As I was talking to Alyssa earlier, my list is just alphabetical because that's just easier for me to do things. The first comedy I came across on my list, I'm up to S's, and that's the first comedy that I ran across was Sherlock Jr. So everything else is either action or drama. But keeping it broad. See, I've seen Blazing Saddles. That's a good one. Young Frankenstein I've seen as well. It's a great film. I love that one. Mel Brooks is great. Obviously did Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. Yeah, Mel Brooks is fantastic. I love Mel Brooks movies. But that's the problem. I've seen them. So I don't want to watch a movie I've seen before. I want it to be a new one. Yeah, all the way down to S, and I have no other comedies.
That you've not seen.
That I haven't seen. That's on my list. And if there's a comedy that somebody tells me about, like, hey, you should really see this one, it's higher up, that would be, quote unquote, higher up on my, alphabetical. Hello, Marlin's Girl. Silent movie.
Hey, Marlin's Girl's here. Hey, Marlin's Girl. Good to see you, young lady. We're drawing a castle plan. Based on plans that differ from each other, so it's making it a little bit interesting.
Oh yeah, silent movie. Yeah. Mel Brooks. Speaking of Mel Brooks. Yeah. Sorry, when I heard silent movie, I thought it was one of those like blah 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 movies, like those weird ensemble like comedies of more recent era. Death of Stalin. That's one I haven't seen. Oh, and that came out just a couple of years ago too. But does that one count as like
a comedy? No.
No, it's a comedy. But like one that's like a classic that I've missed, kind of a thing. Because it just came out a couple of years ago, and it just kind of had a bit of a murmur when it came out. Like nobody was like, oh my god, it's amazing, or oh you missed it, or this is an instant classic. But for you, it's Amazeballs. Okay. The Castle. I think going with the theme of castles, because obviously Alyssa is doing, Castle Keeper's Guide and is doing the Crack du Chevalier or whatever. Have I seen The Castle? That sounds really familiar. I'm going to pull it up. Let's see. The Castle. The 97 film? The comedy drama? I don't think I have seen this one.
Green Lantern. I'm actually just going to hide that. Are you talking about sloped wall? Actually, let's just do a quick sketch layer. Are you talking about a sloped wall here? So it'd come out like this? Or in here? This would lay the area 2. You say Inner Bailey, but with this particular castle, I'm not even sure where that is. Good night, Dungeon 2. Much love to you, my friend. The one you just did. Well, hold on a minute. You can't say I think it would look better than the one you're literally drawing. Keep the slope on the outer wall. Just a thought. Keep the slope on the outer wall. I think it would look better with the without the slope. Okay. Yeah, I kind of liked this. Oops. I kind of liked this. But I hear you. I hear you. It may just start looking weird because we are gonna have like a a trench here, and maybe that's enough slopages. No, I'm not gonna save this map. Screw you. Screw you and the horse that you rode in on. This is Photoshop hardcore. We don't save, we don't do takebacks, we don't erase shit. And I'm lying through my ass. I'm hitting save right now. Okay. Done. But yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I think implying though some kind of height. Maybe we do just a hill. Maybe we do a hill here. What do you think? You know? Brian, right the fuck on. Right the fuck on. There needs to be a slope, like a long ramp. And I'm literally reading going, yeah, Brian's got a point. Brian's got a point. There needs to be a few holes in the middle. I'm like, what would they be for? For the ski balls. You bastard. Fuck off.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. No, I think we'll do that. I think we'll do that. We'll have some like a hill or something here, drawn better than this, but we'll do a hill. And then that captures the spirit of this shiznit right there. But it keeps this super sexy time going on. I think that's what we're gonna do, my friend. Alright, so one area of this particular castle that I am struggling with right now is actually this. Right here. You see this guy there?
Wargaming wants to know if you've been hanging out with Borat. Super sexy time.
Super serious answer. I, and Jack will attest to this, I am actually a huge product of the things I watch and listen to. And yes, I have more than a little bit of Borat in me. And everything that implies. I have a little bit of Borat. And I have a lot of Seinfeld, and I have a lot of other shows too. Twist it, twist
Scrubs.
it. Yeah. Oh, Miss J's burning up apparently over there in Australia time. When the spiders aren't eating her, she's cooking alive.
Oh no. That sucks. Oh no. I can't stand heat. Oh, good lordy. Yeah, Wargaming, we didn't even bother with the final season because, most of the main cast was gone. We were like, yeah, we're done.
What was that for?
Scrubs, the final season. Because that was the thing, is they ended the series and then like it was done, and then the studio was like, let's do another one. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was so fucking stupid. And they ended it on such a high, too.
Yeah, there was a final season. I know, right, Brian? It's silly. And a completely different main character for the final season. I was like, what the hell?
I have a lot of Scrubs in me, too. So much. So many Scrubs. Help me to help you. Help me to help you. Or say, hey. Bah.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. All right, I know the film I'm watching tonight, and it is indeed a comedy.
Ego! Exactly.
It's totally, exactly.
Love me some brown bear. Exactly.
I know, and I like when Tim and Turk have like those fantasies of them being like super pimps with all the ladies there in the pimp outfits. And the first time you do it, like Turk is the one without a shirt, you know, and he's all walking all bare chested and with the big fur coat over his shoulders. And the second time they do it, it's JD with the freaking that's shirtless. And when they come out of the fantasy, Turk's like, "Wait a minute, how come you were shirtless that time?" And he's like, "Because this time I was working out." It was like, okay, what? Oh God, it's so funny, so random, and I think that's why I loved it. Is because it was so goddamn random.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do, Jack, while you're all playing games or watching films and stuff.
Play a game.
I'm not sure how that's how it works. This is breaking my brain. I'm just gonna go with something here because this is really, really, really hurting my brain. Like, I really want to walk this castle so much.
Wargaming. I hear Kingdoms and Castles is a fun game to play if you don't already own it.
I don't know if I
Kingdoms and Castles. Let's see. It's on Steam. Came out a couple of years ago. Overwhelmingly positive reviews. 91% out of 14,600 reviewers. It's a game about growing a kingdom from a tiny hamlet to a sprawling city and imposing castle. Kind of sounds like it's up your alley. But
is it though?
That would be. Oh yes, it's totally you. But I mean, it sounds like a lot of other games you have, and then B, you know, it's a. Are you gonna really buy a new game, or are you gonna play one you've got?
I'm not gonna buy a new game. It's got to the point where I look at my game list and go, yeah, I got so many games. There's so many games that I just haven't played, like, at all. Never mind to the point of what they deserve, I just haven't played them.
Yeah, actually, not this one that happened in the fall here that like literally just happened, but over the summer I actually bought a couple of games that had been on my wish list for a long time, and I've actually got them installed currently because my whole intent was like, you're gonna play these because you've heard they're awesome and they totally sound like they're up your streak, but I've never played them. So I've got like I've got Observer, which is a horror game. It's a horror cyberpunk game where you actually play as Rutger Hauer, who's like a detective or something.
Well, that sounds awesome.
And he actually voices the main character. So not only is it modeled after him, he voices the freaking character. And then I've got Neo, which is a game where it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like Witcher, but you play a guy who's basically in a fantasy version of like a feudal Japan. And I was like, well, that sounds and looks awesome. And what was the third game I had? I think those were the main two, like that I bought recently. I was kind of getting into that game Pathologic 2. Where it was kind of, because it wasn't like a true horror, it was more just kind of a spooky and unnerving, but it was kind of like, I don't know, like, so something about the gameplay that was kind of I don't know. It wasn't drawing me in. So I don't know if I'm gonna go back to that one. Oh, that's the other one. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That one looks awesome. I've heard it's awesome. Gameplay looks great. But it's one of those ones where I just haven't played it. It's like crap. Like you said, too many games. Too many games, not enough time.
And I didn't think I would ever say that, but too many games. And I do not own Kingdoms and Castles.
Maybe you were thinking of another one?
Yeah, I own a few games. But I definitely have a few where things like Castles or Kingdoms is part of the title. I don't own that one. Alright, so a little bit more, guys and girls, just a little bit more, and then we're going to be calling it for tonight.
I've got friggin' Safety Dance stuck in my head now, which is not a bad thing. Of course, I guess Pex would probably hate that, but me, I'm good with it.
Alright, so I think I'm gonna save it here. I still need to figure out this bit right here. That, and because this looks different right here to that, and I want to do something here. I have a feeling that this whole area, this roof, this is literally a roof right here, but there's something going on here, and I'm wondering if this comes down like this. And so this is kind of hidden because this is this shape right here. But then you could see that it's kind of got this hollow out area here, which looks lower. So I think that there's something like that going on. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to draw that from above. And we can do a variation of it, but I'm going to think about that overnight. And then tomorrow, Tuesday night tomorrow, we're going to be drawing battlements on this thing and really starting to add some details. We'll do the battlements, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do the ditch around the outside edge too. That's my objective. And then once we've got that dialed in, I think the following week we will finish this map, which means maybe a week from tomorrow we're colouring. I think nice. A week from tomorrow we will be colouring this map. That's my prediction. So we're back tomorrow. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with Jack and I tonight. Jack.
Hello. Or goodbye.
I was going to say, yeah, bye, Jack. And I want to thank all of you Twitch subscribers. I want to thank all of you Patreon backers. Hopefully the goodies that I send you throughout the month, every month, is that little bit of a sprinkle back to you. I love you because of your support. A huge amount. But this is a great point to end it for this evening. And I'm going to see you on the flip side. Tuesday, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and some point Wednesday, Miss J time. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Night all.